Well, firstly, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our first webinar, and welcome to Ilka.
Hello.
We're a little bit nervous in the lead up, and may look like we're reading as we go through. That's because we are. But we really do appreciate you giving us your time here. If you've got a pen and paper handy, that could be good to take some notes as we go and jot down your questions. And then at the end, there'll be plenty of time for Q&A. And then we'll put the chat box back up and we'll all be able to communicate with one another. All the stories that we share in the webinar are based on real life, but the names of people have been changed to protect privacy. This webinar will include an offer to continue your learning and implement the strategies we'll be showing you in a supportive online group. And you'll have an opportunity to receive a special bonus at the end.
Yay!
After you have, of course, stayed with us the whole way through. Oh.
That one down here. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Thank you. Slide 2, yeah. It'd be great if you could minimise distractions, but let's be real, the reason you're here is because you have kids and they are often a distraction. So there's lots of information, so let's get started. The title of this webinar is How to Stop Your Kids Pressing Your Buttons and What to Do About It. I wonder, when was the last time you had your buttons pressed? Was it a week ago? Was it yesterday? Was it 30 seconds ago? Tell us in the chat box.
Except we haven't worked out how to use that yet. That'll be on the next webinar where we do this a lot better.
Yes.
So we could unmute everyone though. Does everyone mind if you're unmuted?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, I think we're all unmuted except Carolyn. So there we go. Okay, so who's had their buttons pressed in the last?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to do that. Okay. Unmute all. There we go. That's the one. There we go. All right. Yeah. So yeah, we all have had that happen. I had it happen last night.
We'd love for you to remember these 4 words. I am good enough. Write them down 100 times, 1,000 times. Take a screenshot, put it on your fridge right next to your kids' paintings, because you are good enough. And now it's time to show you why. Something weird going on with our slides.
There we go. That's right.
So here's a summary of our 3 key learnings today. Stay tuned and we'll be discussing these in depth shortly. But before this, we'd like to share the intention of this webinar and invite you to hear a little about what brought us to being here with you today. So our intention is for you to have a new self-awareness, for more confidence and belief in you as a parent.
How does that sound?
Awesome.
Does that sound good?
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
And for
Yay.
you to have greater choice in your responses and first-class support for you in moving forward.
Yeah. That's very good. Oh, yeah, it worked that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's a little bit about us, and here are our children, and Ilka with her husband. We each have 3 kids. And yeah, they've taught us a great deal. In fact, we've both come to believe that our children are our greatest teachers. And really the most important things to us to date are being ourselves with our children, communicating openly and truthfully with them, respecting our own needs and our children's needs, and inspiring our kids through living our lives honestly, purposefully, and joyfully. Would these be qualities you'd like to have with your grown children?
Tell us.
Oh,
Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
So we thought we'd share something that our kids...
This is when Joe's going to cry.
Yes, I might have to get the tissues because this was back in the early days of us doing our videos going live at Mooloolaba, and this one was on vulnerability, and I had no idea my children were even watching our videos. And then this comment came from my daughter in Facebook, my oldest daughter, and when we looked at this, Ilka and I tried to shorten it up for you, but we just couldn't do it. I thought it was all, we both teared up. So I'm just going to read it, all of it, and aim to maintain composure. So
This is
just a
from
reminder,
Ellen.
it was on vulnerability. Yeah, this is my oldest daughter, Ellen. This resonated with me so thoroughly. Obviously, being the eldest daughter of Joe, I've seen the changes that my mum has made in her life by acknowledging that the parenting style she grew up with is how she would instinctively react to her own children. When mum talks about the impact that your childhood has on the way you react in situations, I can't help but think of my loving, cuddly, caring, expressive boyfriend who was raised in a completely different environment to me. He would come to me with his problems and his feelings, and I would not acknowledge them. I'd tell him not to be so sensitive. I think society does this a lot, especially to boys trying to express themselves. It is damaging to tell young men they must not be vulnerable or emotional. They must be manly and tough. I've since learned in the last 2 years that emotions and vulnerability are so important in understanding yourself and your loved ones. I used to spend weekends with my boyfriend's family and cringe at the hugging and the kissing and the constant questions about, how are you going? That's not how I was raised. I even joked about how the family would greet each other so enthusiastically with hugs and kisses in the morning, as if they didn't think they would make it through the night. I have slowly moulded into a softer person, appreciating the importance of compassion and empathy. I now enjoy spending entire Sundays cuddling on the couch, watching movies, and describing how the particular colours of the sunset on the clouds makes me feel. I love it. Oh, I think I was born to be this person, and my childhood just instilled a different set of beliefs about how a person should behave. We should all endeavour to find our true selves under the layers of society's pressure and the environment of our early years. P.S. I still find it awkward telling people I love them sometimes, but I'm working on it. Love you, Mum.
Okay. Well, not lighten it up, but yeah, it's very, once we go through this webinar, I think you will understand why we kept all of that in, because it's really what we're talking about in this webinar as well. And of course, I received a beautiful message from my daughter very unexpectedly too, and you can read it there, that she just said a massive thank you, that she loves me and expressing her gratitude towards me. You have the purest heart and the strongest mind. I looked up to you with everything. I generally don't know how I would go through life without you in it. I'm so proud to be your daughter. Love you so much. So there we go.
Move on.
Yeah.
Tissues later. So we'd like to share what led us to bring this webinar to you. Ilka and I both discovered and implemented cutting-edge tools and strategies to change how we interacted with our children. We both
like Ellen said.
Yeah, just like Ellen said. Yeah. She's seen a very different person emerge. Yeah. We both have a strong desire to empower other parents. And we created a course and a community to give other parents the support needed to connect more deeply with their children.
Oh, here's someone we know.
Oh, God.
Our beautiful Rosie, who, as you can read here, said, I've grown braver and more aware. I don't buy into other people's feelings as much. I believe a more awakened, authentic life is possible, which was pretty cool, wasn't it, Rosie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And another awesome lady I worked with, Laurie, we both worked with, the realisation that it's okay to put my happiness as a priority. I think for mums, this is huge, and dads, a new understanding of why my triggers are my triggers.
So now Elka's going to share a story with you to give a real life perspective across the 3 key learning areas that we cover in the webinar.
Okay, what are your buttons and where do they actually come from? Yeah, I'm going to share a story about Mary, who had just started her routine of taking her son to school. And she was feeling really overwhelmed by the whole experience. She was getting frustrated, angry. It's just something like her son, he was a very active boy, and just getting him to put his uniform on them in the morning. I'm sure you've all experienced this, where you're trying to get your children to do something that you want them to do, and they're not doing it. So Mary was an amazing mother. She'd done many courses that showed her better ways to communicate with her son. She knew getting mad was not going to help, of course, and she was feeling very guilty for not being able to do this whole school routine thing better. When Mary rang me to see if I would work with her son. And I told her that I would actually prefer to work with her. And she was going like, oh, okay. I really admired her courage in saying yes to this recommendation. And in Mary's session, she mentioned we found many memories of her shyness and embarrassment when starting school. Lots of memories of, being scared and hiding behind her mum's skirts. She changed schools about 6 times as a young child, and there was a lot of emotional charge around these memories. A lot of, and seeing the kids' faces, and people had laughed at her, and yeah, she could still get those, the emotional charge around starting school, up to like 8, 9 out of 10 in shame, embarrassment, feeling scared. So as part of the process that I used in the session with her, we released this emotional charge from all the memories. We actually even changed the memories. I remember one memory we changed, that she was driving to school. Her mum used to do aerobics. So we were driving to school and her mum had the Jane Fonda outfit on, and they had the music up loud, and we really changed the whole movie of her memory going to school. And when she got there, everyone was excited to see her, and and the whole feeling state of the memory changed, which is what we do in the session. And I also showed her some techniques to calm herself quickly when she needed to around things that were happening with her son. The biggest change that she noticed after the session was that she didn't actually feel guilty at all. That was another thing that was coming up. Once she kind of got angry at her son, she'd feel really guilty. So, and I asked her about how the school routine was going, and she said that she was able to stay much calmer, be much more playful with her son, and she'd implemented some of the techniques that I'd showed her. And she even said that her son seemed more relaxed, which is actually what happens. Now, I don't know if it was her that changed or him, but usually it's actually maybe a bit of both. Kids tend to calm down a little bit once their parents are calm. And she said that she thought he was listening to her more attentively. So the memories from Mary's experiences of going to school were all held in her subconscious mind. And this is the answer to that question. Your buttons come from your subconscious mind. Until she worked with me, she was not aware that these memories from her childhood could have such a great effect on her present day experiences.
So,
that's her taking her son to school.
Yes.
Calm, yeah. Okay.
Next, we're going to show you just how much our subconscious mind is automatically driving us. To paint the picture, let me share a story that may resonate with you. After I separated with my husband, I'm driving home from work. This happened a number of times, and I would leave work and go and pick the kids up from school or head to pick them up from school, and it wasn't even my day to get them.
Has anyone ever experienced that, where you've driven somewhere and not really known how you got there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
autopilot.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
Operating on autopilot. Yeah.
So what about the conscious mind? What does it do then? It's responsible for making choices about our desires. For example, in the story Ilka shared about Mary wanted to feel good about taking her son to school. So that was a conscious decision. However, Mary's subconscious memories of feeling scared, embarrassed and ashamed starting her school and many schools in the past, they were driving her behaviour in the present moment. The iceberg picture is a metaphor for the subconscious mind, which is in operation over 90% of the time, compared to the conscious mind, which we only use less than 10% of the time. From Mary's story, we can see that her desire is to feel good about taking her son to school. However, the subconscious holds many memories and feelings that are not in alignment with her conscious desire to feel good about taking her son to school.
I think we said that twice now.
We've said it a number of times and we'll probably say it again. The subconscious is designed foremost for survival. It holds memories with the highest emotional charge as its first priority. This is why you remember more details about what you were doing when you heard something hugely dramatic, like the Twin Towers being hit.
Or a lady dying.
Well, yeah.
I think,
might be a bit young.
yeah, might be a bit young for that one.
Yeah.
Does everyone remember where they were when those things happened?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the reason your mind can remember that, yet it doesn't remember any of the months or weeks surrounding that whole thing at all, probably, unless there was some other massive event. Yeah. So this slide here is probably my favourite slide on the webinar. The boy driving the car, a bit scary. He can't even see over the lid, over the bonnet, but maybe just. This is another way to think about the subconscious. It's our own inner child. It's the identity that we've formed as an adult is mostly because of what happened to us in the first kind of 0 to 7 years of our life, but 0 to 14, and we literally are creating memories in our minds up until 2 seconds ago, right now. But as we heard in Mary's story, her childhood memories were driving her reactions and behaviours during the school routine, like the morning school routine. Now, she wasn't getting as overwhelmed and out of control in other areas of her life with her kids, which is why it was really strange to her that this particular area of her life was somewhere where she got really upset. But when we explored her subconscious, it became apparent to her why that was. So it was actually really empowering for her to understand that. It is time to check the rear view mirror and let go of the unwanted emotions from the past. So I hope you all remember this slide, because when you start to get upset and you think you're reacting to somebody else, it's usually because it's time for you to start checking your rear view mirror. It's actually because your 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, maybe 20-year-old teenager has started driving your car. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
Had that experience? Yeah. Yeah, cool.
So our key learning number 2 for today is why you think your reactions are outside of your control. And if we go back to Mary's story again, until she checked her rear view mirror and uncovered the past memories linked to the present day, she felt like something was wrong with her. She thought her reactions were outside of her control, and the more she reacted, the more she believed she was a bad parent, and the downward spiral continued.
And also, Mary probably, she did know a lot about the power of the mind, Mary. She's done a lot of self-development work. But I think the amygdala is an amazing thing to learn about. It's the part of the brain that's responsible for creating the fight, flight, freeze response. And it can set off chemical responses that lead to amazing feats. Like if you've heard about mothers who can have lifted a car off a child, like they've just developed superhuman strength. That is the response that's been created in the body from the amygdala. It reacts to the outside environment, the things you see, hear, smell, touch and taste. And if any of these sensory inputs are common to memories with high emotional charge from the past, the amygdala will find these links on speed dial and prepare the body to run, fight or freeze. So in the case of Mary, again, when she heard her son's voice saying he does not want to get ready for school, it may have been, I'm sure it was, in a similar tone to the one she voiced as a child. And her amygdala is accessing the links to her subconscious memories. And it does it in, you can write this down, 0.00075 of a second. Like it literally, we don't have time to think. And every cell in her body started reacting to the unwanted feeling she had as a child going to school. This is why she was getting overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, and again, as I said, she was doing it at this time in the morning, much more than other times with her son, and not knowing why. So the memories linked to Mary's own childhood school routine also held sounds, visuals of her mother being frustrated with her, and when she noticed what she noticed when she was working with me, and this one nobody likes finding this out. I certainly didn't. She found out that her voice was sounding a lot like her mother's voice in that same situation. Anyone willing to put their hand up for that one? They've heard themselves sounding just like the parents?
That's never happened to me.
Dead silence. Never happened. Prior to Mary's sessions, Mary believed she would be this is what she was doing to herself, and I think, you know, Joe and I did this as well. Mary believed she would be a better mother if she just had more willpower, if she just improved her diet, if she just got more sleep or exercised more or read more books or was more positive or did more communication with her courses about communication with her children, you know, and she was already doing all of that. She was a really amazing mom. She needed to find out more about managing her child, you know, read more books, just do more, learn more, try harder. That's really the program that was running her as well. So anyone want to, does anyone resonate with Mary?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Mary was she was a really dedicated mother, and she loved her children, and of course, as like all of us, she wanted the best for them. But it was incredibly frustrating that thinking, learning, and trying to understand how to be a better mother did not seem to be working at times. This brings us to our third key learning area.
This is my favourite. Why overthinking, analysing and rationale don't work. This is what I did for many years. It's really simple when you understand the iceberg picture and how powerful and fast a process of the subconscious mind really is. Current science shows the subconscious processes at approximately 40 million nerve pulses per second.
Okay, write that down too. 40 million. 40 million. Yeah, and
can process millions of pieces of information at once, speeding your heart, growing your hair, keeping you safe, and it does all this without conscious thought. It's on autopilot. Whereas the conscious mind, in comparison, can only process at 40 nerve impulses per second. So that's 40 million versus 40. And only processes up to 7 pieces of information at once. Although if they had more mothers in their test group, the result for the conscious mind may have been somewhere far higher, like 20 pieces of information at once.
And I'm sure fathers too.
Fathers too, yes. But it's still a very small engine compared to the power of the engine driving the subconscious. Hence this image. It's like imagining an ultralight in a tug of war with a jumbo jet. If we go back to Mary's session, her conscious mind wanted to remain calm during the school routine. When she let go of her own embarrassed and scared feelings, including the frustration of her own mother in her mind, she was able to change the memories in her subconscious and link happy feelings to going to school as a child. Bringing the power of the subconscious into alignment with her conscious choices made the changes happen easily and automatically. The knowledge and the tools to change this one situation was extremely empowering for Mary because she realised she could begin using it in many other situations. Not only to create better relationships with children, but also with her husband, her in-laws, her parents, her friends, her work colleagues, pretty much all of her relationships. But most importantly, her relationship with herself. For Mary, thinking, analysing and rationalising are now only needed for beneficial purposes, such as feeling content as she plans fun holidays for her family, feeling relaxed as she organises interesting activities, and feeling excited as she learns about things she enjoys.
Yeah, much better. Much better use for the overthinking. Although just the thinking maybe, not so much the overthinking. But much better planning holidays, wouldn't you think? Does everyone agree? Better to be planning a holiday?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that jet as well.
Yeah, getting on the jet. That's the go.
Yeah.
So we're going to recap. Thank you for all listening along here. You probably all know the answers now, where our buttons come from. They come from the subconscious mind. It records all the memories. It has many, many proofs and references in there. It keeps them all in there, particularly the ones with the high emotional charge from our past. Emotions like anger, shame, fear, sadness are all linked to these memories. And the subconscious is in operation 90 to 95% of the time. Unlike the conscious mind, which really, like, it's the conscious mind. The best way to explain this is why people don't turn up to the gym in February. The conscious mind tells them, I want to go to the gym, like Mary, I want a greater connection with my children. I want to go to the gym in January. I sign up in January. But by February, the subconscious mind has taken over and they're paying a gym membership that they're not using. Has anyone ever done that? We've done plenty of things like that. Yeah.
Many of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So to recap, key learning 2, why we feel like our reactions are outside of our control is because that part of our brain that controls the fight, flight, freeze response is extremely fast. It can access memories in the subconscious in, and here we go again, 0.00075 of a second.
So the third learning, to recap on that, is that overthinking doesn't work. Using it because it's trying to use your conscious mind. And the conscious mind, you can think of it as the ultralight. It can't do very much at once. It's just not a very powerful engine. But by going in and, like I did with Mary, by changing the subconscious memories of her going to school and making them all happy and light and fun, when she was going, it just happened automatically. The school routine became automatically easier to do. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us. And have you been enjoying this information so far?
So yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you leave this webinar, you'll have a great deal of valuable information. If this is relatively new information, it can seem a little overwhelming. Perhaps you've tried to change your behaviour before, just like the gym example.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're all excited, convinced you'd make change until you hit that first road bump. We'd like to be a part of your self-empowerment as you continually improve your relationships with your children. And we'd like to offer you our Awakened Parenting packages so that your road is smooth, so that you can be surrounded by like-minded parents and be reminded, yes, indeed, you are good enough. You're a parenting rock star. So here's what you would receive. We have a 6-module online
I reckon you should sing this. Joe's really looking forward to doing these lives, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sing them to us. Go. The 6-module online course. The 6 groups.
The 6 group Zoom session.
They're fun, aren't they? We've got people that do them on the call, so they are fun, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
And of course,
a lot of self-awareness in those sessions.
You can't see me, but I'm like punching the air in excitement.
Awesome. And the private Facebook group where we can share our insights and ask questions and be supported by other like-minded people.
Yeah. Oh. So that's.
So we'll just quickly go through the 6 modules of the course. Module 1 is a simple way to choose who you want to be, engaging all your senses. Module 2 is where you reunite with your childhood self through a transformative meditation. And Module 3 gives you an understanding and control over your most powerful tool.
We had a lot of fun putting all this together, didn't we? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Module 4, you get clear on what is really important to you. Module 5, once you know what's important to you, how to communicate that to yourself and to others.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
And you get really clear on your values here, so that when others call you on your values, you have an inner strength to stand strong to your own values.
Yeah.
And Module 6, the parent you visualize being. Here we celebrate you in this powerful meditation. So here's what the 6 group Zoom sessions will look like. This is your chance to work with Ilka, an experienced, advanced level 4 fast 3 FT practitioner, and you will experience the power of changing memories in the subconscious, just like Mary did, with weekly group 1.5 hour transformational sessions.
Yeah, it's fun.
And of course, the private Facebook community where we get to chat to one another, share our challenges, and be surrounded and supported by others.
More testimonials. So this is Linda and her beautiful kids. And Linda also had a corporate job. So she said, I'm a much calmer version of me. That really helped her with her kids, but also it helped her in her job with her boss. She noticed a huge difference there. So that was very cool. Next one. Oh,
Yeah. Who's that good-looking boy?
Who's that lovely person? I've been empowered with the skills to continually improve my relationship with my son. And yeah, that's been pretty awesome to watch that happen, Jemma.
Except this morning.
I'll
save that for our next session.
Yeah. And Erin's a beautiful mum who has worked with me a lot, and she rings me at times of crisis, things going on. She's a very, very busy lady, runs her own business, and done a lot of work. I've seen her grow a lot too. A lot of work with her. My relationship with my kids, Jay, yeah, she really got a lot out of doing the course, and her relationship with her kids has taken leaps and bounds, which is pretty cool, in a positive direction. Noticed a big difference.
So, along with our offerings today, we have a few bonuses. And this one, 10 fun family games. So, yeah, you get the materials and the instructions and all that, but this is me with my family, with little kids to grandparents, playing 10 really fun family games, having a ball, and you'll get that
Videos.
Yeah, the videos and the ebook. Lots of fun. Bonus number 2 is where you can connect more deeply to your kids. We share 5 connection strategies, and you can track these strategies, and there's a nice printable document so you can put it up on the fridge and your kids can see how awesome you are and how well you're doing.
You can tell Joe made that one. It's very good. It's very cool.
And the connection quiz. This is my favourite. This is the one I have the most fun preparing and bringing together lots of other information, and to bring it into a very simple 15 questions to come out with the way that your child will best connect with you. And I found this hugely beneficial for me, because having 3 children, each of them is very different to the other. Love this, and learning about myself as well.
It's helping you learn about the way that you do things and interact with other people and all of that. That's lots of information in that.
That my way is not necessarily the right way for everyone. Yeah. So here's what you receive. 6 modules valued at $120 each for a total of $720. 6 group Zoom sessions.
She feels like she's on one of those ads on television.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. The late night channel.
We're going to bring out the steak knives.
Yes.
Okay.
6 Zoom
We have to do it.
$1,200. And the amazing private Facebook group valued at $300.
And all the bonuses.
All the bonuses, yes. So total value, $2,327. But of course, you will not pay that. You will save $1,780 and pay just $497 for our Pioneer package.
Yay!
And we also offer a VIP package. So you will get the Pioneer package and add 3 one-on-one sessions with Ilka. And these are JFT sessions. More joy, more freedom, more trust in your life. And these are valued at $900. There we go. So the total value, the basic course, add the sessions with Ilka for a value of $3,227. But surprise, surprise, you won't pay that. You will save $2,030 and pay just $1,197. And we do have payment plans on offer as well. So you've got the 2 packages here. The Pioneer package would be just $70 per week over 8 weeks for a total of $560. And then if you'd like to upgrade and work one-on-one with Ilka, we have the VIP package, also over 8 weeks, at just $160 per week for a total of $1,280.
And that's something I really recommend doing, especially if you have any big challenges, but just even to get the most out of it, because doing the one-on-one work is probably the most beneficial of all of it, because it can be so tailored to you. Yeah.
And we do offer a complete guarantee. If after 3 months you're not completely happy with what you've received, just let us know and we will give you your money back.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of choices here, the Pioneer package at $497 or the VIP package at $1,197. And thank you for being with us today.
This is the steak knives.
The whole way through. Yes, here are the steak knives. There's more. When you pop in to the site and purchase one of the courses on the, not the payment plan, if you use the coupon code today, you will receive $100 off. So that will be $397 or $1,097. So here's what you need to do if you would like to come on board with us. At the top of the screen, you'll see the link to our Awakened Parenting courses, and this is what it will look like when you're in the screen. So you have your choices there. What you need to do if you're interested in the payment plan, you still need to click on the courses. Then when you go into that next window, it will look like this. And as you can see with that blue highlight, there's a drop down arrow for the payment plan option.
Woohoo!
And there's the VIP empowerment package. So you need to go to that link at the top of the screen, Awakened Parenting.
We'll put it in the chat box.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll put it in the chat box.
Yeah.
And
there we go.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Our very first ever webinar. I can actually breathe a little bit now, and the butterflies in my belly have gone away.
Hello. We're back. We're back. We're back for question and answer.
Yes.
Can everyone still see that? And we'll put that link in the thing. So does anyone have any questions about what they've seen or anything?
I just like to say thank you. That was very, very enlightening.
Oh, good.
About the subconscious and the conscious mind and so forth.
Oh, fantastic.
Very much appreciated.
What did you find the most enlightening, Sean?
About the amount of subconscious that's having the effect rather than the conscious mind. I've always been the person who overthought things and so forth. So
yes. Oh yes, we've been there too.
Exactly. So yeah. So thank you.
Oh, pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Anyone else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just think you guys are awesome, and I really love the work that you're doing. And it's so informative, and I always learn something.
Oh, yay.
Thank you, Rosie.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
Make us all braver parents.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyone else got a question?
Yeah, I don't have a question, but yeah, thank you. And I think it's really, even though I've done a lot of work with you, Ilka, and spent a bit of time with you and Joe, I think it's always a good reminder.
Yes.
To do, and particularly I think around that, what are the triggers, and looking at what our child's doing and sort of thinking, okay, well, what was my experience as a child? At that age that my child is now, and also around the issue that my child's having. So
yes, exactly.
No, that's really important to kind of remind myself, okay, just stop, breathe, what's he doing that maybe is triggering something that happened to me when I was his age. So
yes,
and put that on a post-it note and stick it somewhere.
And the thing is too that the interesting thing with Mary was that other times in her life there didn't seem, she could stay calm. This was what was so confusing to her. So yeah, it really is an incredibly awakening, I suppose, to find out that sometimes it's just because of things that have happened to you around particular things. Whereas other times that your child will be doing a similar behaviour and it won't be bothering you.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got my own example, and I'm going to think about that a bit today. Definitely.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks.
See you later, guys.
Okay,
My dog's yapping.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, Sean.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, then we'll sign off. Thank you all for being here again.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
share with your friends. We'll send you the replay link. So
maybe.
we will be.
Oh, I forgot you were recording. Oh,
So good.
thank you.
Okay, pleasure. All right,
Bye.
bye. Bye.